Yes, perfect. Okay, so yeah, I would like to tell something about our new plan to introduce some kind of subscription. Piotr already told a few details about it, but I will dig in a bit about this. Yeah, so please go to the next slide. Piotr?
Trying, but I don't know why it's it's like so big delay.
Yeah, just for those who don't know that yet, NovaCustom is a custom laptop supplier based in the Netherlands, and we started offering our laptops with a cardboard firmware starting from, I believe it was by the end of 2021, I think. We have a good relationship now with Reamdep and the Dasharo community. And now we are actually looking for a further, some kind of step to improve security. And one of those features is something that we are planning, which is called the Dasharo Entry subscription, which includes the support for HATS firmware. And there are a few advantages of this HATS firmware that I would like to explain a bit. And I will tell you something about the costs. And after that, we will move forward to Intel boot card, which we will discuss. I will tell you something about the firmware update procedure and our plans for this year and next year. So one of the great benefits of HATS firmware is that it is very minimalistic compared to EDK2, and this causes a reduced attack surface. So you have smaller code, which means that you have obviously fewer potential backdoors, and it should also improve the feasibility to review and audit the code, just because it's like smaller codes, so smaller codes to review. Next slide, please. Yeah, so the good thing about HATS is that it brings a really enhanced security feature, because it verifies the integrity of key components during the boot, and these key components include the UEFI firmware. That is the firmware responsible for booting and initializing. Another key component that's being verified is the kernel, which is the core of the operating system that manages the system resources and essential services. And also the bootloader is being verified, which is the software responsible for loading the operating system kernel into the memory, which is normally grub2 for Linux operating systems. And by the way, as far as I know, only Linux operating systems are supported. At least Windows is not. That's what I wanted to say here. So how does it work? It works with a measured boot, and that creates cryptographic hashes for each components, which are linked to each other, and these hashes are stored in the TPM, which is another part of hardware, and so the firmware uses the TPM to securely store and attest the integrity of the measurements. And it does this in a very early state, so before it, of course, obviously before it gets to the operating system. Next, please. Thank you. Yeah, so another great benefit of HATS firmware is that it has a native integration with CubesOS, and with CubesOS and HATS firmware, you will have a great chain of trust. So thanks to the TPM, and this firmware, you will have a solid base to start your operating system. So together with a solid operating system such as CubeOS, yeah, you can say you have a reasonably secure laptop. That's the goal. So unfortunately, we cannot, of course, deliver such a thing for free. The subscription will cost 60 euros a year plus maybe some taxes based on your country. And while you are purchasing the laptop from us, you can choose between 1, 2, or 3 years of subscription. This subscription has to be renewed after it has been expired. It does not automatically continue. Also, I believe this will all go through an email system to inform you about the subscription. But well, I think these details haven't even been worked out yet. But in fact, no renewal means that it's, of course, you will still be able to use your current installed version, but you will not receive any further updates or support. Then let me tell you something about Intel Boot Guard, which we are looking at. So Intel Boot Guard offers a great protection layer between the firmware and the processor from unauthorized modifications. And these the firmware parts are digitally signed with signatures, and this, yeah, like I said, this offers a great extra protection layer. But there are some concerns about Intel Boot Guard. One of the things is that the keys that are related to unlock the system, in fact, to make it work, these are in the hands of the manufacturer normally. Then, in fact, the whole Intel Boot Guard is useless because anyone could just sign the firmware again with its modified, maybe even tempered version. Another thing that is a concern for us is that Intel Boot Guard disallows the end user to modify the firmware. So we were quickly thinking, like, what can we do? Maybe we can give the keys to the end customer so that you can still make these modifications. But Piotr told me then we've got some legal problems to deal with. So this is in a state of discussion, and maybe we will at some point get a solution for this. Also, you have an option that is called CPU fusing, where the CPU refuses to execute anything if the firmware key is not correct. Yeah, then let me tell you something about the firmware update procedure. And right now, as Piotr told, so the Dasharo tool suite is made to update, maintain the firmware, and we are introducing some new security features that will make the firmware update a little more complex, because to boot the Dasharo tool suite, you would have to disable secure boot, and also another function that we will introduce, which is SPI flash lock. So basically now the user would have to disable those functions in the firmware settings, then go to the Dasharo tool suite to flash the firmware, and then eventually restore these settings as they were. For some users, like advanced users, this is not a problem at all, but we've got some customers, actually quite a lot of customers, who really care about a great accessibility to firmware updates. These are not advanced users, but still like the way of openness, of open firmware, at least as open as possible. So therefore, we thought like maybe we can use FWUPD like we supported in the past. If we use that, then we would maybe not have this problem, but then we face another problem because FWUPD is not capable of flashing the EC firmware, at least for our devices, because it's not, this EC firmware is not stored in the main SPI flash. So yeah, okay, we will have to find an alternative update solution to keep the firmware update procedure accessible. I would like to remind you that we have the NovaCustom NV41 series available with CubesOS, and it is CubesOS certified, which means that the CubesOS developers team make sure that this hardware runs fine, the new releases work fine, and they verify that before releasing new versions of CubesOS. And this will also be the only NovaCustom model that we will offer for the entry subscription with HATS firmware. And that's that's because the NV41 series is the only laptop that we currently have that works perfectly with S3 suspend mode, which is the only suspend mode at this time that's working with CubesOS. Next, please. Yeah, so I would like to say once again to everyone who owns a NovaCustom device or any other Dasharo device, please, let's be active and let's solve firmware issues together, because with your input we can make Dasharo even greater. Next, please. Thank you. So this is my last slide, I believe. So in 2023, this year, we will have the Dasharo entry head subscription. Of course, we will have some bug resolves for our laptops. We are looking for a way to deliver better update accessibility for not so advanced users. And we will also introduce some new firmware features, including UEFI setup password, SMM BIOS write protection, early boot DMA protection, network stack enabling disabling, USB stack enabling disabling, and we are also looking for a way to offer physical anti-tamper solution. Next year, we will probably offer DDR5 models and PCI 5 laptops with 14th generation Intel Meteor Lake. So we will skip Raptor Lake, and this is because it's financially unfeasible to develop firmware for every generation for us at this moment. We will probably also introduce a new set of firmware features, and we are thinking about Flex Charger, which is basically copied from inside firmware, where you can set the battery charge levels. Microphone and camera switch is something that we would like, same for Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, to be integrated in the firmware as a setting. And who knows about Intel boot card. So yeah, that was it from my side. Thank you for your attention, and maybe you have some time left. I don't know.